Well, unfortunately, in football, some things are just inevitable. Coventry scoring goals is one of them. Beating Boro is unfortunately another. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, another episode of Project Boro, and we are here not for the first time talking about Coventry City beating the Boro. 4-2 it was at the Riverside tonight in what was, well, an unbelievable rollercoaster of a game. From a Boro point of view, it went from a disastrous start where you're worried and you're just fearing the absolute worst to an incredible comeback and a point to which you thought there was only one team who were going to go and win the game. And then the game swings on one huge moment and you find yourself somehow coming away on the back of a 4-2 defeat. Now, first of all, I want to say this was the difference between the two sides. Exactly why Coventry are top of the league, 10 points clear, and Boro are now down to third. And this is why Coventry, for me, are now on a one-way trip to the Premier League, whereas Boro are going to be scrapping around maybe for second, maybe for playoff places. The difference between the two teams here was there for all to see. Because if I'm being honest, I thought Boro were very, very good tonight. I thought we played really, really well. We dominated Coventry for large spells in the game. I thought we were the better side for the majority of the game as well. But despite being the better side, and despite, I think, absolutely 100% deserving something from the game, you saw exactly why tonight Coventry are where they are in the Championship. Because I think it's fair to say, for large parts, they were second best. For large parts, they had to do a lot of defending. We put them under a lot of pressure. But every time a big moment came, they capitalised. Every time a big moment came along, they took their chances. They were unbelievably ruthless, unbelievably clinical, and you can see why they've scored upwards of nearly 50 goals in the Championship now, and why they are head and shoulders above anyone else in the Championship. Because I wouldn't say I was massively impressed by Coventry tonight. I wouldn't say they were absolutely head and shoulders above Boro in this 90 minutes alone. But when the big moments came, they were so ruthless, it was untrue. And when the big moments came for Boro, especially one big moment, well, we fluffed it completely. And you can see exactly why both teams are where they are. But from a Boro point of view, listen, there are so many positives to take from tonight. I thought we were really, really good. And there were some really good performances out there. And I feel for the boys because I don't think they deserve to lose that game at all. But I'm sure, as much as this will hurt a lot, you'll be thinking, how on earth have we lost this game? There's a lot to learn from this game as well. A lot of things to learn from it, especially in regards to how Coventry City played, especially in front of goal. And as I said in the preview that I did the other day, I think Boro are a match for Coventry in every single department, barring one, and that was there for all to see tonight. That was at the top of the pitch. So anyway, taking a look at the lineups, Boro did go with a back three. I don't know what the hell FootMob thinks it was out there tonight, because this certainly was not the formation. It wasn't a 4-2-3-1, and I'm glad we went with a back five, because the second I saw Sammy Silvera in the lineup, I just thought, please don't be in a back four up against Sakamoto and Van Eyck. I thought if we can get a back three in there with wing backs, I think we'll fare much better, and that's what we did. So it wasn't what it is on screen right now. Alan Brown was dropped in to that back five with Luke Ayling at the heart over three. Silvera was the left wing back. Britton was the right wing back, with Hackney and Morris as the midfield two. You had Whittaker and McGree in behind Tommy Conway. And I thought Boro started the game immensely well. I thought we were very, very good out the blocks. I thought we were putting Coventry under some real pressure early on, and we did not allow them to settle. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic start to the game by Boro. Morgan Whittaker had a chance that was deflected just wide early on, and I thought, fair play, Boro. We've started the game exactly as we wanted to. And I said in my preview, the one thing I was dreading, the one thing I really, really, really did not want Boro to do was give Coventry an early lead. And it seemed like for the first 10 minutes, we were not going to do that. And we were very much in the ascendancy, very much the better side. And if anything, we'd started the better. And Coventry looked sort of all out of sorts. They looked like they were a little bit slow out the blocks. But then they do what Coventry do. And in a matter of 5 minutes, Boro somehow found themselves 2-0 down. And they were just 2 goals that epitomised Coventry. Absolutely unreal quality. The first goal is a brilliant counter-attacking move. Victor Torp carried the ball brilliantly through the heart of the pitch. Plays it to Ellis Sims. I didn't think he'd shoot from there. And when it left his boot, I thought, that's probably going to sail over. And then, last minute, it dips right into the far corner. It's just an outstanding finish from Ellis Sims. And that was the first real thing Coventry did in that game. The first time they ventured into the Boro box. The first time they got anywhere near Boro's goal. And they go and do that. And you think, okay, this is why they are where they are. You know, they've been on the back foot for the first 10 minutes. One chance, bang, it's bent into the top corner. Nothing Solbrin can do. One ruthless counter-attack and Boro are 1-0 down. And then 5 minutes later, it's 2. And again, an unbelievable piece of quality. You know, the corner comes in, Boro deal with it. The cross back in from Grimes is sensational. I mean, to volley that in with such accuracy and pace, it's just a brilliant cross. And because he brings it in with so much pace, all Kitching has to do is direct it in on goal. The pace will carry it on target, and he heads it in to the back of the net. And you're shell-shocked, essentially. Boro are absolutely shell-shocked, and you sat there thinking, we don't even deserve to be behind. Never mind 2 goals down, and you're thinking to yourself, somehow this is the worst possible case scenario for Boro. And of course it's happening against Coventry. Of course it is. And they have just bang, bang, put you away. And as I said in the preview, they are capable of doing that. 1, 2, 3 goals and the game is gone. And I'll be honest, I was fearing the worst after that. I thought this could get real ugly. You know, the atmosphere, a balloon had been burst in the Riverside. And I thought this could get nasty. You know, Boro haven't come from behind to get a result yet this season. I couldn't recall the last time we were 2-0 down this season, if we ever have been 2-0 down in a game, and I just thought, this is bad. However, the boys deserve absolute credit, because I think from right up until Sims's goal, from right after Kitchen's goal, apart from that 5-minute spell, Boro were brilliant, and I thought for the rest of the first half, I thought we were really, really good. We took control of the game. We were by far the better side. You know, we defended very, very well. We shut down all their threats really, really well. We controlled the game. We got into some really, really good areas. And again, it was just a case of, could we find that final bit? Could we find that final moment? Because we were more than worthy of a goal, at least, going into half-time. And thankfully, we did get it from Morgan Whittaker, and it was another goal for him. You know, cross coming from the right-hand side from Alan Brown, flicked on by Alfie Jones, put it in the bottom corner by Morgan Whittaker, and it was the absolute least we deserved going into half-time. I mean, to be honest, we didn't deserve to be behind at half-time, in my opinion, but, you know, to be 1 goal behind, you're back in the game, and I thought Boro definitely deserved to still be in this game, because I thought, other than the 2 quick-fire goals we conceded, our response was great, and I thought we were very, very good value for the goal from Morgan Whittaker. And then second half, you know, I think Cov would have been pretty relieved to get in to the half-time only, you know, still 2-1 up, because I'm sure they felt like they were on the ropes a little bit towards the end of the first half. And then Boro, again, the perfect response. Second half, we come out, and 4 minutes after the restart, Boro get their equaliser, and again, a bit of luck. Yep, you could say that. You know, cross comes in, it's flicked on, Thomas can't sort his feet out, and he slices it into the bottom corner of his own net. But again, I thought Boro were more than worthy, more than deserved their equaliser. And just like that, we're back 2-2, and it's game on. And you really do think to yourself, we're more than deserved to be level. And from this point onwards, it's game on. It's an even game once again. And it's a case of who is going to go and win it. And to be honest, again, right up until the very end of the game, Boro with a better side second half. Once again, the most dominant side, probing, putting Coventry under pressure. It was another case of could we just find one of them really, really big moments, and there was only one side that looked like they were going to win the game. Only one side who looked like they were going to create a chance to win the game, and only one team who you could say were deserving to win the game at that point. Carl Rushworth made an outstanding save from Morgan Whittaker effort as well, which was just an unbelievable strike and an unbelievable save. But then came the moment, and I think you all know what moment I'm talking about. And when people say moments can change games, they are not wrong. And this was the definition of a sliding doors moment. This was the definition of a moment changing a game. And who knows, it might transform both teams' seasons. We do not know. Because Boro, I think, were more than deserving of that big chance, that big moment. And we got it. And this is the difference between the two sides. Coventry get their big moments. They punish you. They put you away. Boro get theirs. We fluff it. Like many, many times and occasions this season. And unfortunately, there's no forgiving Tommy Conway for this. And I mean, I'm a big fan of Tommy Conway. I think he's a great player, a great team player. He offers a lot to this Boro side, and he is a miss when he's not in the team. But he is also a number 9. He is also the guy who needs to be delivering the big goals in the big moments. I think he's not scored in 12 now, 13 is it? It's been a good long while. He's missed some big chances along the way. Again, you can't always blame him at times because some games he is just not given any opportunities and you can forgive him for that. However, this was a huge moment and he simply has to score. It's a brilliant switch from midfield. It might have been Hayden Hackney who plays it out to Callum Britton. Britton's first time cross is just outstanding. It is that little bit of quality you're just willing Boro to have. We finally produce that piece of quality. Britton puts it on an absolute sixpence for Tommy Conway. I don't know how he misses. I don't know how he misses and how he skies it from there. Just keep it down, keep it on target. It's a goal. And he gets, he ends his goal drought. He gets his moment. He gets a big goal. Boro turn it around, 3-2 up with 10 minutes to go. And it's a different game. And then, it's a case of can Boro manage it? Can Boro see it out? We complete an insanely good and I think well-deserved comeback against the best team by far in the Championship. He's got to score. And there's just no forgiving that he missed that opportunity. And I don't want to bash him too hard because I'm sure he knows more than anybody. He has to score and he'll be going to bed tonight and that will be going through his head over and over and over. And who knows, it might just be a defining moment in this game alone. It could be a huge defining moment in the weeks to come. But the moment he missed that chance, you knew what was coming. Because Boro had been building this momentum all second half. We were almost sucking the ball into the net in the north stand. But the moment that chance was missed, you felt it in the ground. You felt that the atmosphere had been sucked out of the Riverside the moment he missed that chance. And not only had the momentum and the bubble had been burst, the balloon had been popped, the atmosphere was just bang, gone, sucked into a vacuum. It gave Coventry that tiny little bit of impetus, paired with some very, very good substitutions, I've got to say, by Frank Lampard as well. I think Coventry smelt blood at that point, and you just knew it, sat in the stands. We've all seen enough football matches to know what happens, especially when Boro play Coventry. The football gods do not forgive you. This Coventry side do not forgive you. And then again, they produce 2 quick-fire moments, bang, bang, towards the end of the game, and it's gone. Done. Like that. Kitching scrambles a third after a save from Sol Bryn. Ellis Sims puts home a De Silva cross and heads it home for a fourth. And it's game over. Just like that. And that is essentially the difference between both sides. When they had their chances, they scored them. When we had ours, we missed them. We were putting balls into the box. We simply had no physical presence up there aerially to challenge. Coventry were defending their box immensely well for a lot of the second half because we just don't have any big physical players up there to get on the end of them, crosses and corners. I always felt like we were always going to come out second best. However, when they are putting balls into the box, they're such a big physical side, and with the quality of Van Evik on one side, De Silva in the other, you've got the likes of Bobby Thomas in there, you've got Mark Grimes putting balls in as well, Ellis Sims, who was winning headers all game. Yeah, the inevitable happens, and he heads them away for a very, very good brace. And despite all of Boro's endeavour, effort, spirited comeback, we somehow end the game 4-2 down, and you're thinking to yourself, how on earth have we lost that game? But unbelievably, the game spun on that moment, and it was there for all to see why Coventry are where they are and why we are where we are, and the game finishes 4-2. And yeah, it's a sickener. Not just because it's Coventry, and it's always Coventry who beat Boro, but I actually thought we played really well. And I thought we were more than deserving of a point, and we probably, maybe, would have had all three if that moment was put away. But yeah, Tommy Conway, not for the first time this season, I'm afraid to say, misses a huge opportunity. And, well, we'll talk about individual players in a bit, but it's a tough one. It's going to be a tough one to see how he recovers from that. Looking at the stats then, as you can see, Boro dominant with the ball, as we have been for a lot of the time. Again, though, despite all of the possession and the pressure, we didn't create all that much once again. Only 2 shots on target in the end. A lot of crosses into the box. A lot of set plays. Coventry, again, a bit like what Oxford were doing midweek, a lot last week, and other teams have this season. They were eating up the crosses because Boro just don't have a physical threat in between the sticks. But unfortunately, when the big moment did come, as I say, we didn't put them away. Coventry, considering they didn't have much possession, you can just see how efficient they were with it. 20 shots, 8 on target. And from an XG of only 1.4, they scored 4 goals tonight. That explains exactly why they have scored upwards of 50 goals in the Championship this season. It was, essentially, it was a spirited Championship promotion-chasing side, huffing and puffing against a side who are near enough a Premier League side with Premier League ruthlessness. And that was the difference out there tonight. And then talking of individuals out there, I think there were a lot of great performers out there for Boro. I really do. I think it's harsh to judge Sol Bryn on the 4 goals that Boro conceded. I think we would definitely think we could have done better with some of the goals we conceded from a defensive point of view, but I think there were times in the game where Alfie Jones, I thought, was really, really good defensively. I thought Luke Ayling as well did really well at the back. There was one really big sliding tackle he made first half when Sims was played through. If he gets that wrong, it could have been 3-0. I thought both full-backs, wing-backs did really, really well. I thought Silvera had a great game. Given the fact he was up against some real top quality down that right-hand side, I thought he was really solid defensively, but he was also a great outlet down the left as well. Still, though, quality final ball, letting him down. If he had that, I think he would be such an asset to this team. He provided such good width and 1v1 ability. He did terrorise Van Evik at times 1v1, but his final ball is just too inconsistent, unfortunately. And Callum Britton on the other side, I thought he was relentless, tireless, and should have had an assist, putting the ball in the sixpence for Tommy Conway. He was really, really good. The midfield as well, I thought, was good. Morris went off half-time, not sure if it was an injury. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Brown was pretty good as well. Hackney, I thought, managed the game, dominated the game at times from Boro's midfield. And I'm going to whisper this quietly. I thought Morgan Whittaker had one of, if not his best games in a Boro shirt tonight. I thought he was a goal threat. I thought he was better on the ball. Still a bit lightweight at times, but I thought he put a real shift in and was really effective in the 10, if I'm honest. Much better in that 10 than what he is out wide, I would say. And I thought McGree as well was decent. I don't know if he was took off to manage his minutes, possibly. But the boys who come on, I thought, were pretty good. Obviously, it was very, very late in the day when Bergsorg and Sen came on and the game changed pretty much as soon as they did come on. But I thought Hansen and Target both offered a lot of good stuff when they came on as well. Hansen looked a real bright spark as well. But of course, Tommy Conway. And I don't know what we do with Tommy Conway because, my opinion doesn't change from what I said after Oxford in terms of what he offers, what he brings to the side, and there's more to a number 9 than just taking their chances. And I think he offers us a hell of a lot in a variety of different areas. But you cannot deny at the end of the day, the job of a number 9 is to score goals, and he is not scoring goals for us right now. And I think his off-the-ball work, his pressing, his endeavour and his effort is great, but it will only get you so far. There has to be a point to which he starts putting chances away, and if he scores that tonight, maybe Boro win the game and close the gap to Coventry to 4 points. If he scores the goal at the end against Oxford, maybe on Saturday we win that game, and we could be looking at an entirely different outlook on the top 2 at the moment than what it is now. But instead, we're third, 10 points behind Coventry, with Stoke above us and Ipswich breathing down our necks. And as Coventry have proven, you need to have that ruthlessness at the top of the pitch. It can make such a difference. And sadly, Tommy Conway is just not ruthless enough at the top of the pitch. And you do start thinking, would Strelets have put that away? Or do we have to just look at a different striking option and a little bit extra in the January transfer window? It'll be very interesting to see what the incoming head coach, Kim Hellberg, thinks of the situation. Of course, he was there in attendance tonight alongside Steve Gibson and co in the director's box. But of course, this defeat now means, as I say, the gap to Coventry is 10 points. They're as good as gone. I don't recall seeing a side with a gap as big as this at this stage of the season. I really, really don't. 2 points a game, they're miles ahead of that now. And let's be clear, it would take a monstrous bottle job for Coventry to not get promoted from here on in. I mean, the rate of points any of the teams behind them would have to accumulate between now and the end of the season to catch them would be insane. I mean, Ipswich are probably the only side possibly capable of hitting 90 plus points, I would say, off of evidence of what I've seen so far this season. But I can't see 2 teams catching Coventry. I can't see 2 teams putting together the amount of results needed to catch them. I know there's sides like Southampton who are starting to click, and maybe a few others, but they've got such a gap right now. I'd be astounded if anybody caught them, and that's why, for me, I think Coventry are as good as promoted. I really, really do. I don't think it's stupid to say that. A 10-point gap, they can't bottle it from here, surely, and they just look too good in all areas. A threat from so many different angles, great options off the bench as well. I just think, they're as good as up. And in terms of Boro, I mean, well, we'll see what Hellberg brings. If he can take us up a gear, if he can solve what's happening at the top of the pitch, I think we've got everything else to be a successful team. It all depends on if he can get the best out of the strikers, the attackers, without losing what we have in the midfield and the defence. It is only 3 wins from 11 for Boro right now, and the win rate that we've had since the start of the season, since that very good start, it hasn't been great. We will eventually start dropping off. I'm looking at Ipswich. I think they're coming. I do. I think Ipswich, they're here. They're 3 points off Boro with a game in hand with an immensely superior goal difference. So I'd be astounded if Boro could stay ahead of Ipswich between now and the end of the season. I don't think there's too many of the teams Boro can't compete with. I don't know how good Southampton are going to continue to be. But I think Coventry are gone, and I'd struggle to see Boro stay ahead of Ipswich, which makes me think, I'm not saying top 2's gone, because it would be stupid and naive for me to say that when we're outside of it on goal difference, but I just think with what I'm seeing coming from behind me and the way Boro are at the moment, I'm not saying top 2 is done, but I just find it very hard to see how Boro get there. I think we are just, a playoff side who had a really, really good start, and I think the key now is Hellberg, try and get some more out of our attack and just try and keep us as comfortably in that top 6 as possible between now and the end of the season. That would be it for me. But, we'll see. Ipswich might fall off again. They might hit a brick wall, and maybe Boro can pull away a little bit again. But quite honestly, at the moment, I just can't see us staying ahead of an Ipswich Town side who I think will just continue to just get better and better and better. And I think will overtake us. And once they do, we might not see them again this season. So it'll be interesting to see how Boro bounce back. We just have to draw a line under this now as we enter the Kim Hellberg era, starting this Saturday against Derby County. So if you've enjoyed this video, guys, do hit a like on the video, subscribe for more. Hit a bell too so you never miss when a video drops. Let me know your thoughts, feelings in the comment section below, whether you're a Boro fan, Coventry fan, or otherwise. As I say, there will be a podcast coming later this week with hopefully myself, Chris, and Rob Law to discuss the Kim Hellberg appointment. And there will, of course, be a preview of the Derby game coming up as well before the end of the week. But until then, guys, do take care. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.